You all know that BCCI is a huge brand in itself. This brand is created because of the love of the fans and the cricket-loving population of this country. Without the support of the fans, it would not have been possible for this board to become this big. In last few days, the confidence of the cricket-loving fans has shaken due to certain things which have happened, unpleasant things which have happened. But leaving them aside, it is now the duty of all members of the board to build the reputation of this board and bring it back to its original reputation, for building which a lot of administrators have worked hard. In the present scenario, I have to continue the good work which was being done by Mr. Jagmohan Dalmiya, who had thought of certain reforms, but unfortunately he could not carry them out. And therefore I propose to take things forward with the help of all the members of the board, and I would illustrate to you a few things which I propose to do in immediate near future. The first thing would be, as regards the conflict of interest issues, the board would frame regulations with regard to conflict of interest of administrators, players and their staff. That would be done within a month's time, and the board would also appoint an ombudsman or an ethics officer who would be independent of this board and who would look into the complaints as regards the conflict of interest of the administrators, players or the staff. Secondly, the board would lay down the norms and would take forward the measures to prevent corruption in this game, for which the board would take programs for educating the players, as also with the help of my secretary, who is a sitting member of parliament, we would like to meet the government officials to see and work out if we can get certain investigating agency, because the board people do not have any investigative powers and therefore our hands are tied. And that thing could also be worked out to curb corruption in this game, so that we can restore faith of the cricketing fans that the game is clean. Thirdly, a lot of debate goes on that the associations are paid huge money by the board and nobody knows what happens to that money, whether it is spent on cricketing activities or otherwise. Now, the accounts of all associations are audited by their auditors. However, we would build a system by which the accounts of the affiliated units could be audited by an independent auditor appointed by the board, whereafter the further money would be released to the state associations. The board would be also empowered to take any other action in case the board finds that the money which has been given to the state association is not being properly utilized. There is another grievance with regard to the board, that the board is not transparent and everything is kept under the wraps. I feel that this problem could be sorted out by putting on the website of the board the constitution of the board, all the rules of the board, any expenditure made by the board over and above an amount of 25 lakhs, so that people are aware on what activities the board spends their money. And at the end of the year, we can put the balance sheet of the board on the website. With the result, it is available to the entire public at large, so that there is transparency in the activities of the board. As I told you that nothing wrong is being done in the board. However, it's a perception which is being created in the minds of people that because the information does not come out, there is definitely something wrong in this board. Therefore, to clear that myth and change the perception, we would do this immediately. The board would also look into starting of NCA again, whose activities are not up to the mark as on date, and we would see to it that NCA functions round the year so that cricketing talent is developed in this country. Today we are short of the second line. There are no spinners in this country, so it is also our duty to see to it that we have an available lot as a replacement for the current players. The board would also like to develop women's cricket, and we would enter into contracts with women cricketers as we enter into contracts with the men's team. That would promote the game, and more women players would love to play this game. I would also like to say that as regards the records of the board which are lying at different places, the records of the board would be made available at the board headquarters, so that any member association or a representative of an association can inspect the records at any time in this board. Lastly, I would like to say that there is a World Cup event which is coming up in March, April, and our priority would be to conduct that event in the best possible manner, and to show that we want to function in a transparent manner and not in an arbitrary manner. There are two powers which are vested with me under the Constitution. One, at the AGM, there is a chairman's vote and a casting vote, to which I do not agree that the chairman should not have a vote, because a person should not be equated with an association. The casting vote is fine. Therefore, I would assure you all that I would not exercise the right of the chairman's vote at the AGM till the Constitution is amended. Secondly, there is a right given to the chairman to decide on a dispute with regard to the vote, by which we have seen in earlier days since many years that minorities are converted into majorities, because it's again an arbitrary power which is given to the chairman. I would not exercise that power also. I would put the dispute to the House, and whatever is the majority view of the House, I would decide accordingly. That would be my decision. And I assure you all that all these things, give me just 2 months' time. I would not ask you for time. In 2 months' time, all these things about which I have spoken would be implemented in full force. And I would also need your support, because it is you people who build our image before the general public at large. When we do these reforms, you must also highlight the good which the board is doing, so that, because it's not only the duty of the board, but also the media, which is another limb, to show that this game is clean, it is transparent, and restore the faith of cricket-loving fan in this country. Thank you very much.